Okay, hi, my name is Christian, and I am doing the Sustainable Development Goal of quality education. Um, so, quality education is a big deal, especially in many parts of less developed countries. COVID-19 too has, especially this year, played a big role on education, how many people are going through education, the quality of education in third world countries and even second world countries, as well as even some first world countries have some bad education. So, it matters because a lot of people need to be educated. There's a lot of children and young adults who don't get the education they need to set up to be successful in life. They don't get the opportunity, or they just don't have the wealth sometimes. A lot of the reason is to do with, wealth of the individual as well as the wealth of the country they live in. They're not always they don't always have schooling available, or they don't have the means to go to the schooling that they need. So here is my poster. So the Sustainable Development Algorithm. And the goal of my algorithm is to create a way for users to view the struggles behind the Sustainable Development Goal of quality education, and see the differences it needs. And the way the program does this is through an algorithm that lets the users choose which country they'd like to view and which wealth status that they'd like to view from 18 different countries, or 16 different countries, I'm sorry, 8 of them being less developed countries and 8 of them being more developed countries, so first world versus third world problems. It takes the user's input data and outputs the percentage of people that make it past upper education, or in our terminology, college education. In a lot of places, not everyone is able to either afford to make it past quality education, upper education, or they can't find any upper education available to them. So based off which country or which wealth level you're going to see higher percentages of the richer and the more developed countries that are going through upper education, and you're going to see lower percentages for the less developed countries with the poorer people going through upper education. Alright, so here's my MATLAB code. You can see we just got very simple code here. We've got just some information that appears for the user when the program runs, and then we display a list. This list has all of our countries in it for someone to choose from, and in this display it allows them to choose a country, which then stores their choice as index, and TF, that being the row that they choose in this list of countries, and the column's always 1, because we only have one straight down list. And here's our countries. They're in order of the first 6 being the least developed countries, and the last 6 being the more developed countries. Then, after the user selects which country they'd like to use, or elect to view, they then can select the wealth that they want to view. So we have the 5 wealth classes in our data set, which is poorest, second, middle, fourth, and richest. And the user can select one of those to see, okay, if I was, the richest for that country, what percentage of the richest people in that country make it past upper education? What percentage of the poorest people in that country make it past upper education? And so after they pick that, which saves its row as a index 2, they are outputted an answer from our data, which then it looks at our chart and it determines which country they chose, and it determines which class they chose, and outputs a percentage on the more developed and the less developed. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. The more developed is our first 8, and the less developed is our last 8. And then we just have some basic text explaining what the percentage means and why it matters. How can people push past this? Why should it matter? Alright, so now we're going to run the code. we will load our data, our final percentages data, and we will hit run. So you can see down here it says this program is designed to tell you the upper level schooling completion rate for the country you live in based off the wealth you have. So you can choose, it says select country to view. You can view, let's view Ukraine. And then select a wealth status. We'll say, let's do second class of Ukraine. And then we get some information. So it tells us 72.5%. And this percentage shows the completion rate for the wealth group you chose and the country you chose. In some places, not many people make it through upper education due to wealth or countries' poor schooling systems. Many people lose the potential to learn and grow into the kind of people they want to be. And then it says, I encourage you to run the system again and pick another country and another wealth to see more. Right, and so you can see here that MATLAB creates variables. Index says 8 and index 2 says 2, and then it looks at our data and goes to row 8, column 2, and says, okay, that's the percentage that they chose. And it displays this percentage for them. So we can run the code again. It'll give us the same thing. Maybe this time we look at Cambodia, and maybe we'll do the fourth richest class. We'll see 5.63% only make it to there, and that's because Cambodia is one of the less developed countries. So even though you could be one of the more richer people in Cambodia, you may not have the opportunity to go to upper education still due to the country's wealth, due to the country's schooling system, and factors like that.